Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now we have an unexpected update regarding upcoming Battleground season, and I must say I am absolutely in favor of this update, even though the opinions are split on this matter for sure. There's a very large group of people who have been practicing this point farming method and find nothing wrong with it, and there's, I would consider, equally large amount of group of players who do not necessarily like it. However, well, first let's read what Kabam has stated about point farming. Well, I suppose first we must explain what is point farming. And point farming is a strategy in Battlegrounds where you deliberately lose matches using energy in order to make sure that you will easily win your matches using Elder's Marks. It works because Elder's Marks give you 7 times the amount of points. So if you can ensure that you will almost always win when using Elder's Marks, you get a significant advantage raising your score for your solo event and for your alliance event. And it will not be going out of bounds to say that vast majority of the alliances that accessed these juicy rewards that we can see here in like alliance event, for instance, the juicy rank rewards and solo event players as well, that got the most 7-star shards, most catalysts, most materials, stuff like that, where, at large, I'm not saying that everybody or every alliance that scored high in this event does it, but it's extremely commonly widespread already, where you basically just spend 3 weeks to somewhere in the victory track, going up and down, and then in the last week or last week and a half, once you already have spent and acquired whatever season score you're happy with, you enter the Gladiator circuit and go for the rank rewards. It's just the system that kind of allows people who do this point farming get the best of both worlds as well, because you can farm points for several weeks and then in the last week just climb to your C5 or whatever, or C6 to get the better season rewards. So you end up with a massive score in the solo event, and you end up with a solid finish of the season as well. So yeah, and needless to say, I have been always against this method because I do think, again, it is, not playing the game mode as it is intended, and I think it does ruin it for virtually everybody involved, aside from the person point farming, from the gameplay perspective. There is this argument like, yeah, but you're consistently giving free wins away. But from the other person's perspective, if you match somebody that is point farming, you will either get absolutely crushed because they should be, long gone in the Gladiator circuit and matching much stronger competition, or you will get a free win and you don't really get to play the game mode. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation from your enjoyment or actually playing the game perspective. Yeah, it might even out, in terms of what points you are earning, but at the same time, it just ruins the whole match. And, for me, and I think for a lot of people, that is, as important, if not more so important. Not to mention that there are other consequences to it. For instance, because of the point farmers, Kabam will never be able to get accurate data on, what type of players, when and how they get stuck in victory track in order to help them, get through the victory track easier when they are making the adjustments. So Kabam's data is off and wrong as well. And also, for smaller to mid-tier players, I think this point farming fever makes Battlegrounds kind of into just a lottery. You might as well not play a lottery ticket, because if you're going to match somebody, who's giving you a free win, nice. If you match somebody who has 5 times the bigger roster and is going to be bashing you in, sucks to be you. And it's a lot less about actually playing, and it's much more about just, whether you get lucky or not, and then get through the victory track. Anyways, those are my arguments against point farming. And now we can listen to what Kabam has to say here. Battlegrounds is a competitive mode where players should be trying to win. Deliberately losing for any sort of benefit is considered by the game team to be unfair play. This season, we will be monitoring Battlegrounds to detect players deliberately losing matches in order to farm event points against weaker players, as we did with win trading in past seasons. If we detect players engaging in this behavior, we will take action against those accounts, including bans if we deem it necessary. We are confident we will tell the difference between players legitimately stuck in rank and those who are doing it deliberately. Those not engaging this behavior should have no cause for concern. Which I'm sure that there will be these stories. Like, I just got stuck in victory track and I got banned. Which, we're always going to have to take with a grain of salt. But the point is, I love the fact that they made this announcement right now. It's because now, if you're going to be point farming, you're going to be risking your account potentially. And that in itself will automatically dissuade a lot of people from doing so. Is it really worth to get, slightly higher solo event ranking or slightly higher alliance ranking at, the risk of losing your account? I would say no. I would, as always, advise people from point farming. And this hopefully will also just lower the cutoffs, where more active alliances in Battlegrounds who do not point farm will end up placing higher than they normally would. Hopefully that is the result. Because obviously these overinflated point totals come pretty much directly through this practice. And when people will actually, if you will want to put up the same amount of points this season without point farming than you did the last season with point farming, you would have to put in significantly more effort and or units in order to achieve that. Which, again, some people will definitely be against it, but from my personal perspective, again, I don't think it was good for the game. I don't think it was good for the competitive aspect of it. For instance, it's a very big reason why I'm never really incentivized to rank high points-wise. I'll put up some points, but, I'm never going to be trying to use Elder's Marks for the entire season, for instance, just because I know that I'm playing in Gladiator Circuit against some of the best people in the world, and, my win-loss ratio fluctuates around the 50%. Maybe it's 60%, but it'll never be nowhere near as high as people who point farm in the victory track and, just fly past me point total-wise. So I'd have to use double the amount of effort or Elder's Marks to get the same points that they get just by beating up on weaker players. Again, never seemed really kind of cool or intended or the way it should be to me. And as I am recording this video, I will 100% expect, a lot of negative feedback to this video. Every single time I have spoken about point farming, there has been a pushback from community. Things like, yeah, but we have our alliance minimums. Well, I'm supposed to do it and stuff like that. And those are like legitimate problems, but the point farming was always like a band-aid or like a shortcut to those things. If, as a result of removal of point farming, your alliance, maybe they need to reduce the minimums, for instance. Maybe you're not going to get all the rewards if the people are not active enough. And it's always hard for people to like let go of these rewards that perhaps they should not have necessarily gotten in the first place. It's and as I have compared in past cases, often to me point farming seems extremely similar to shelling, which Kabam has taken very strict action against recently, because that always pretty much will mean that the alliance that does not necessarily to place as high in Alliance War Season does so by effectively manipulating the matchmaking. And whenever somebody does place higher than they're meant to, that automatically means that people behind them get less and worse rewards than they were meant to. And point farming effectively is the same thing. If somebody uses, let's say, 3,000 units worth of Elder's Marks or 1,000 units worth of Elder's Marks and plays honestly, every single person who point farmed and used half the amount of units will be ahead of them. And, that doesn't seem right to me. And on my channel, I know for a fact that, I say things that do infuriate or upset a lot of people. But on this channel, I have always also made it a point of telling things that I believe in. Like if I think a champ is overhyped, I will explain my worries as to why I think so. If I think a champion is great, I will do that. I do not make videos to appease any group of people, especially if I think they are wrong. And the last, thing that I do wish to say is any and all discussion and feedback is obviously always welcome. Just, try to keep it civil because this is a fairly, big point of contention in between different groups of people. So any and all feedback and comments and all that stuff is welcome. Just, don't be a dick in comment section is what I'm trying to say. That said, let me know what you guys think about Kabam removing point farming, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about